Welcome to the High Bar, your weekly watering hole for lighthearted conversation with people who care about culture that matters. I'm Warren Etheridge, your host and barkeep. I promise never to cut anyone off while encouraging all to think responsibly. Join me and my guest, Rachel Flotard, the rock goddess of Visqueen and the founder of Local 638 Records, as we raise the toast and raise the bar for independent music. People in Hollywood like to talk about what disarray the movie industry is in, but then they can always look over at the music business and say, not that bad. Today, to tell us more about indie music and how it's faring, is the lovely rock goddess, Tawny Katane stand-in. Please welcome Visqueen's Rachel Flotard.
Oh, hello. Don't clap. It's cool.
It's okay. Your fans are here.
They are here. They are in droves.
They are in droves.
Thanks for making me the barometer of the entire independent music scene in this room. I feel really, there's a lot of pressure here.
Well, it's not your first time in this room. You have played this room before.
I have. It's good to be back. And about 10 years ago.
10 years. Prior to the High Bar's existence.
Way before the High Bar was even a glimmer in your eye.
Yes.
My first band, well, my second band, Half a Cat. You may have heard of us. We were huge. We played Longview, Bremerton, and some Seattle rock and roll. Awesome band. And our first ever television appearance was on 29 Live, which was filmed, I believe, in this. Pulling up, I started to have some flashbacks and got a little sweaty that this was the very room because Ben Hooker, drummer in Half a Cat, we went on to form Visqueen, ate a gnarly crab cake just prior to taping and vomited on the side of his drum kit off camera. So I was telling Warren
during the performance.
There were some throat gaggers during that performance, and I believe some crab did escape. But like diamonds, YouTube is forever. And you can see not his actual regurgitation, but the performance, which is almost like its own regurgitation when I watch it now. I have some leather pants on, which I think I needed a shoehorn for, and some really nice Kiss boots. My friends Mandy and Heather, Ben, we formed Half a Cat, and we blew minds here in this very lot. On this lot.
So we're back here.
I can't even believe, literally, this is where the vom happened. This was where the drum kit was set up, right underneath the High Bar, right underneath your name was Crab Cake Part 2.
There we go.
Just to set the scene.
Well, now that you have really convinced us of your stardom.
I know. So if that isn't enough of a list of my qualifications on why I should be talking about anything, I don't know what is.
My mother or relatives in my family would say, this is a career. I mean, you're very famous. You're on the cover of magazines. You got albums out there.
Wait, I'm what? I'm very famous. That's hilarious. Maybe at the PCC.
You're all over that Starbucks site. You got a big thing on Starbucks now.
Isn't that crazy? When I first put the Message to Garcia record out a year ago.
Message to Garcia.
Look at that little cheetah face. That's the record. So I started a label to put my band's music out. And at the time, you kind of have to get cagey when you're starting a project that no one wants to be a part of. And you're like, okay, I need to strategically figure out how to get music from point A to point B. Our band loves it. We're a unit that's been making music for obviously 10 years, kick-started by a little vomit back here.
That's right.
There's ways to do this. At the time, I was singing backup for Nico Case, and her record, Middle Cyclone, was out, and I sing on a bunch of those tracks, and Starbucks was selling the record. So I figured, okay, I'm going to approach people in my own backyard. Okay, little indie marketing hat. And I contacted some friends at Starbucks and at Amazon and at Microsoft, let them know what I was doing. I said, I'm already being sold at Starbucks singing on another person's record. Right. How can, I'm a Northwest artist. I've been doing this for over 10 years. I've, decided to put my record out myself, which so many artists are doing. I mean, this is not a new story, right. But it's just kind of new for me. And I couldn't get it picked up in stores, but they're like, Rachel, we are behind you. We really like the record, and would you ever want to film like a little webisode on Powered by Coffee? And I was like, hell yeah, I would. And basically because all I do is pretty much drink coffee. So it's not like
and
they were
Kir Royales.
And Kir Royales. But it's not like, so I said, absolutely. And they filmed it a year ago, but it came out and launched like 3 weeks ago or a month ago. So it's really funny if you can see, like, maybe Sony or Capitol or a giant label would have had that out like immediately. Indie music, we all work like a year behind. But that's kind of cool because it, I think when you shove music and shove anything down anybody's throat like that, do you like it? I don't really like it. So if it takes...
It's like a crab cake.
It's like a crab cake. So if it takes a lot longer, for music to reach people, I think the best part about indie music right now is that it's kind of a slow burn. Like, records have such a longer shelf life and a longer cycle to live because, people in Des Moines are still buying the Visqueen record. It's making it to France. It's making it to Japan, and it's amazing. I mean, the internet, we could talk about that for... You have heard of the internet.
Yeah, I have. Thank you.
Anyway, but the Starbucks thing, it was just kind of a great fit for me, and it was a great way for more people to find out about the music. I mean,
well, I love that they wouldn't support your work, but they're happy to capitalize on your indie cred.
Well, I was like, do it. I mean, but it's so great because, half of, I've purchased records in line at Starbucks. Like, this is how people are getting their music if they're not going to, an independent record store or online. You got to kind of take it where you can get it. And it's not like they were, like a Lederhosen corporation was like, we would like to put you on our Lederhosen website. It's like, I drink coffee all day long. Right. And, I'm sorry, but if you're a band on tour and you love espresso or coffee, if you're in the middle of nowhere and there's a Quiznos and a Starbucks and a barn, you're going to go to the Starbucks. So I was like, bring it on. And it's been great because my mom gets to watch me on the Starbucks website.
Over and over
and over again.
Well, let's talk about this idea of the lifespan of the music, because that's interesting. Because in the movie business, you have this awful, obnoxious thing of, like, it's opening weekend, people got to go see it, or it's dead.
Here today, gone today.
That's correct.
Oh.
But now you're talking about something opposite in the indie music world, where you actually, it's not just a long tail, it's just a long life.
It really that's how it is for me. Right. I feel like, and maybe it's the older I get, the more I'm in not a lot of rush. There's no fire sale on music. If it gets to me when so I'm discovering records that are, 20 years old, not to mention 2 years old. And you can find any song you want on iTunes, on Amazon, online. So people have the ability to rediscover something that's, it gives new life to things that aren't held and adhered to a strict release date. And that's the thing, like, the music industry is changing in that way where there's no real reason why I should be sitting here at the High Bar talking about a record that I put out a year ago, but I am. It's still selling. People are still, we played Bumbershoot this year opposite Bob Dylan at the same time slot. I'm like, what,
Some nice counter programming there.
It's pretty awesome. I know, I'm like, thanks for that. But our show was packed, and it's such a testament to the people that have, supported us for so long. I mean, really, you can do all this stuff, and you can hope your record or whatever you put out there for people to enjoy lasts a long time. But without the support of people like in your hometown, Seattle's been a huge supporter of our band, and just of me and Ben and Christina and all of us together. That's a huge thing of what keeps your album alive, because now with the advent of Facebook, I think in Italian, it's Facebook.
Oh, Facebook.
Oh,
There,
Facebook.
Facebook. There we go.
People just tell the next guy, hey, I found this amazing band. They're coming to your town. Go check them out. I mean, that's how my tour worked. I don't have a booking agent that will route out a tour and put me with Vampire Weekend or Muse. I've played with both of those bands at Deck the Hall Ball because I'm like, hey, I'm Rachel, I'm in your town, and our record is getting played on KEXP just as much as Muse is getting played on the End. Would you consider us for Deck the Hall Ball? It's all this like scrappy, going after stuff and just hoping that it works.
How do you define success then? Because it is a different form of success in indie music than
Well,
the idea of like signing with a big label and touring the world.
I think that idea has changed for me from when I was here mopping up some crab cake. My ideals were certainly different, and I think, I mean, that was over 10 years ago, and you know, it seemed like a record deal and was like the holy grail, but it's really not. It's, I think, defining success for me personally is just being as happy as possible in a world where there are 1,000 more important things on any given day than this. You know, it's being a well-rounded, well-balanced person, because if you pin your hopes to anything as fickle as what the public deems, you know, good or bad, then you're in for a world of hurt. Pretty much.
Let me make note of that.
Yeah, just jot that on down. So it's like, if
But you got to care a little bit. Come on.
Of course I care. I mean, I would.
You don't play a show and go like, you didn't like it.
No, I totally am the opposite.
Right.
I work extra hard to engage. If I could talk to every person in the room, I would. Right. And sometimes I try to, which makes everyone else in the band mad. But no, I absolutely care. And that's the whole thing. But it's like, I can't walk around thinking about, you know, if someone doesn't like it, or else I wouldn't leave my house. I would have all of my cat figurines, and I'd wear a shower cap, and I would cry forever. But like success, it'd be nice to be able to support myself and my family, live modestly, and do what I want to do. And you can do it if you're smart and you can budget yourself and figure out a way to tour. Right. It can be done.
You're almost there. Or you are there?
I'm there.
You're there.
But I'm also, you know, I'm certainly not like digging a guitar-shaped pool that's like waiting for its, you know, cement to be poured. I'm scrapping like everybody. I mean, below, you know, I'm working hard. There's not a whole lot of tanning beds in my future, you know.